New thing to do is start recording my things audibly with a camera, video camera, and that's how I do my act now. Okay, so new people, how you doing? Never seen you guys before. Good times. All right, so I could do some old stuff. So I'm driving around. I went out to Warm Springs and I was going through Atlanta this week, and they had some kind of radio show going on, and they came out with these new words you can use in front of any Ford product if you really want to. And I thought, that's kind of rude. I got kids on the bus. They said you can put the word anal in front of any Ford product, and it'll work. Like anal probe, anal focus, anal forester. All these words would also work for any Ford product. If you had, anal escort would probably work, I suppose, in a bad way. But I also figured out if you put the word God or club in front of any of these words, like club escort sounds pretty cool, or God's escort would also be a great word to use, I suppose. And that might work for if you have different crowds on the bus, because you can't always say anal in front of a church crowd. They doesn't want to hear it. So, just watch what you want to use if you do want to have, jokes or conversation later this week. Yeah, I was a comedy club this week, and I had a great joke, but I can't tell anybody at work because it's the word anal is involved. So, you have other ones you can use now. How's that? Okay, so that's going on. For those, my dad was a stripper for 10 years, got the happy 10 years in his 20s. No, he didn't do it in his 20s. Before he met my mom or when he met my mom. I don't have the wonderful stories of how you met your mom. How did your parents meet? My dad was a stripper. No, I don't have that story, no. He was in the Navy, Philadelphia. At one time, sailors that went through Philadelphia, every ship that went through with sailors in Philadelphia, 1/3 of all single sailors were married by the time they left in 6 months. It just happened that way. All sailors got married. My dad was on the second tour. That's where he met my mom. So that's my parents' story. In case you guys are curious, he didn't meet on Tinder or anything like that. So it was long before Tinder. So you got that going on. Now he became a stripper in his 50s, not his 40s when I was when I was in high school or something like that. He was a sailor too, so he did that. He became his 50s, and all my nieces and nephews were able to say, mom does this, dad does this in school every year. They say, what does mom do? What dad do? And they all said, grandpa's a stripper. And it became kind of a running joke. And the family was great, no matter where they lived in the country. It was in Texas, Virginia, Colorado, no matter where it was always a good joke. And it worked out really well. But I still tell the people that my dad was a stripper at this point. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Your dad was a stripper? He says, yeah, he was a sailor, truck driver, and a stripper. He's like, okay, here's more details on this one. Because I drive tour buses. So I get to tell him my dad was a stripper in Maine in his 50s. He became a stripper because there was nobody doing that kind of work in the area. A lot of guys that had the stripping operation before him, and they were getting breathing problems because they weren't ventilating the stripping vat. They put furniture in the vat, and they would get respiratory problems. And that's my dad knew how to follow directions, and he never had those problems from that. So it worked out really well. That's how my dad was a stripper for 10 years. So it worked out really well. It's a good story. A lot of folks liked it. People smile and chuckle, and it's like, okay, So that was kind of fun. So we do that. And I draw a blank on occasion as to what to say after that. So I have notes. I write down notes because I have stories I can tell. Okay. Y'all see the news? See the news on a regular basis. School teachers get out there and they like, okay, we have unspeakable acts. Mrs. Johnson, the 3rd grade teacher, the 5th grade teacher, 8th grade teacher is having unspeakable acts for their students. It's like, wait a minute. Those are not unspeakable acts if they're in the news. They're on the news for some reason. Someone's talking about what Mrs. Johnson is doing with 3 of her students in class on a regular basis. When it was the high school gym teacher and he's messing with the cheerleaders, nobody spoke about that. That was unspeakable. That was rude. Those guys get arrested, go to jail. No one really knows why Mr. Davidson's no longer the gym teacher. It's always the gym teacher knew, too. It was never the science teacher. No one ever wanted to hang out with the gym science teacher. But if the science teacher the female science teacher is teaching anatomy class and he starts messing with the kids, that makes the news because everybody thought, no, wait a minute. You're complaining that your kid's getting laid in high school? This is strange. What's going on with this kind of crap? But it's out there. It's not really so much of an unspeakable act at that point, I don't think. People are bragging about it at that point. Cops are like, you really want to complain about that? Yeah. Okay. So, what else we got? Oh, jeez. Cow jokes, female teachers, highways. Oh, okay. What do you call a deer with no eyes? I tell jokes with kids, you can tell for everybody kind of thing. More jokes you can tell around everybody's work. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea. What do you call a cow on the side of a hill? Lean beef. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. I had some cows we go buy cows on a regular basis. They're fun, you know. They had some cows on a regular basis. Hey, those are special cows. You know how they're special? I know they're special because on our last job review, they were told they were outstanding in their field. Everybody's had that review at one time or another. You're outstanding in their field. So yeah, it's good times. You know, just I tell the jokes like that. My bank teller, she said, "Oh, I got one for you." Bank teller says, "What do you call a bear with no teeth?" Gummy bears. So crazy jokes. All right, folks, enjoy yourselves. We're going to give it back to Hillary here. Yeah, she's running the show tonight. Thank you. Appreciate your smiling at least and chocolate. Here we go. She smells good. Oh, yeah, one other joke. No matter how good the soap smells in the bathroom, never walk out smelling your fingers.
That was a visual applause.